So yeah, I want to talk about the hidden job market. And this was a stat that came out or released in Forbes magazine. So it's 9 years ago almost, but I think it's still true. You could say, well, maybe it's 65 or 75%, but up to 70% of open jobs are not posted, which means 30% are in the published job market. And so if you are looking only at jobs when they're posted, then you're spending 100% of your time for a possible 30% market share. So we're going to talk about ways to put this more into your favor. And so as the curtain opens, it's been a while since I've been in a theater, I guess a lot of us. So Tony did an introduction. So I did start my own company in 2014. I was in the corporate marketplace for 30 years, working for a couple of companies, was twice let go in 2012 and 2013. And I found for me, starting my own independent technology company was the right decision. It's not always right for everybody, but it was right for me. And we could talk about that process separately. I blog on technology topics, but my audience are non-tech people. So if you want to reach out to my blog and read about different tech topics, about maybe email marketing or lots of others, I write as if you are not a technology person. And as Tony mentioned, I'm actually very active in the job seeker support community. And that's very much what I like to call us, a community of supporters, people that do help each other in that way. So I do lead a group called PSG of Mercer County. We meet every Friday morning, still virtually. It's free to attend, no need to sign up in advance. Just go to our website, PSG of Mercer County, go to the event calendar, and you will get the link for this week's meeting. We have a career coach, Madeline Elmgren, who will be presenting your value proposition. I know it's a topic close to Tony's heart as well. And I'm active with a few other groups as well in their leadership or as a facilitator. So when we talk about the hidden job market, let's kind of define it. Let's kind of talk about what is the hidden job market. And basically, these are available positions, but the employer hasn't been advertising them. And there can be many reasons why the employer is not advertising them. We'll talk about why that may be. Oops, there it goes. And so let's first understand what the advertised job market is, so we can then further define what the hidden job market is. So one place that you find advertised jobs are job boards, and there are lots of job boards out there: Indeed, ZipRecruiter, CareerBuilder, Monster.com, all those companies that have online postings where their paid clients are the companies who have positions, and they post them, and then hopefully you will find a position of interest and earn an opportunity to interview. Another place, go right to the company's website. Most companies do have a careers page where they do post positions, or at the very least give you an opportunity to submit and get onto their records. So you could go to the company that you're interested in, create a company list of companies you're interested in, visit their website and see if their career pages have postings. The classified ads, not used quite as much as they used to. I certainly remember going to the Sunday New York Times classified ad, which was probably the biggest section of the Sunday paper. Now classified ads are not as much in print, and of course they're online for periodical websites as well, but there's still companies that prefer to advertise in classified ads because they know their prospects would be still reading papers and looking that way. Job fairs. Job fairs are a great way to find out about some jobs. And a lot of times people are disappointed at job fairs because when they go, not all the jobs that are of interest to them are the ones that are there. Or even a lot of people will say, you know, there are kind of more entry-level jobs at job fairs, and I'm, certainly a more mid and senior level person. The real benefit of a job fair is, in my mind, is meeting the HR people who are there representing the company. So it could be that there is not a position at a specific company right now, but later on, when there is a specific company, you've met an HR person weeks or months ago. That's the person you may want to reach out to. So go to job fairs. Recruiters, of course, you either reach out to them or they call you. They are either internal people, employees of a company, or they're third party. They work for a recruiting type of a firm that's engaged by the hiring company. And these are people that do typically offer jobs. And so, and they promote them very aggressively because the recruiting market is a very aggressive market and a lot of competition. Also visit trade and professional associations. It doesn't matter what your professional background is, what trade you're in. You can be in finance or medical device or manufacturing or IT, it doesn't matter. There are trade associations and professional associations, and a lot of times their member companies will post positions as well because they're looking for people specifically in the trade, and sometimes that's easy for them to do that. So look at trade and professional associations. It may also be worth your while to join a professional association if you are not yet a member of one because of the potential connections that, that you can make. And social media sites. Companies are on social media. They may be on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or lots of places where they are. Different companies will favor different social media sites. You need to understand the type of company that you may be interested in pursuing and then see and look at their social media sites. But it's not uncommon for them to post that they have open positions and directing readers on their social media sites back to their career pages. And the reason why is they know that there's a good group of followers in their sector that will use the same social media where they're promoting. So you can join the social media sites that some of your target companies may be on and look there as well. So that's where they are promoting jobs. But remember, even though there are these 7 or 8 different options, and maybe you can think of a couple of more, there are certainly only about 30% of jobs that are open that are actually published this way. So they're published different ways as well, or they're available different ways as well. In order to understand why jobs may be hidden, you need to get an understanding of how hiring managers like to hire and who they like to hire. And this also comes from my personal experience, because for about 14, 15 years, in my corporate career, I was a manager and I had staff that I hired. And so when I learned about this, I said, yes, this was me too. So the very first thing, when a hiring manager has an open desk on the floor, or virtually now, I guess, the very first thing the hiring manager wants to do is reach out to the people they know and trust. You've worked with people before, maybe at other companies, or maybe people that worked for you that left, but you like them, you may want to reach out to them again. And that's often the way hiring managers like to start. They like to reach out to people that they know and let them know, hey, I've got this open position. It's very similar to what we did before, what you did before with us. And why don't you come and interview with me? And they may or may not take them up on that offer. So hiring managers are looking for people that they know and trust. Either they've worked with before, they've met in industry associations, they've met networking groups, because it's someone they've already had a little bit of a rapport or a relationship with. When that doesn't work, the next place that they look are referrals of those people. So if they reach out to a couple of people and they start asking, hey, are you interested in the job that I have? If those people say no, then the hiring manager will then ask them, do you know anyone who may be interested? Do you know anybody in this field? Do you know anyone who I can talk to? So the hiring manager likes getting that referral, and it makes it a lot easier for the hiring manager to find somebody rather than going out to the open market. The open market is the last place hiring managers like to look. And the reason why, they're all strangers. It's a longer learning process. It's a longer trust process. And there are a lot of unknowns that they have to get comfortable with. And also, most hiring managers are not very good at interviewing. And so some of them are, but most of them aren't. They're not trained at it. I was never trained or taught how to interview. And so there may be insights that you just don't have unless you've done it lots of times. So hiring managers really, go to the open market kind of last. So that's why those positions aren't yet published. So those jobs are effectively hidden. That's one of the reasons why jobs are hidden. So a hiring manager also could be waiting for final approval to post the job. And it's really funny in corporate America, and I've seen it with each of the companies I've worked for. If someone has left my department and I have an open position, I don't automatically get permission to fill it. I need to ask for permission to fill that position. So we had somebody there yesterday, and now I need approval to fill the position that I had filled. So a lot of times a hiring manager is waiting for final approval, knows it's coming down the pike, but can't publish the position or promote the position just yet. So that's one reason why the job is hidden. The hiring manager knows about it, but just can't talk about it yet. Also, as we mentioned in the last slide, the hiring manager could be looking within his or her network. The hiring manager could reach out to people that they know to see if there's somebody that they want to interview, or to get referrals from those people. So they're looking within their network. Sometimes a recruiter knows there's a position, just like the hiring manager knows there's a position, but because there's no approval process yet from the hiring company, they tell the recruiter, don't promote the position yet, it's not approved. So it's a practice that's more common than you think, and it's something I used to like doing when I worked with recruiters. I would reach out to the recruiters that I knew and give them a job spec, but tell them, you can't promote this. And the reason why I did that is, even though they can't, quote unquote, promote it, they can still recruit for the position. Maybe you've gotten the phone call from the recruiter. I've got a terrific job in an industry of your interest, but I can't tell you the company right now. So it's not a public position. And the reason why they do that is, as soon as the hiring manager gives the recruiter the go-ahead, the recruiter may already have a couple of candidates lined up and get them right to the desk. So that's why they do that. But there's no, the recruiter is still waiting for the company okay, so the position is not officially posted, it's hidden. HR is looking internally. It's a very common practice in medium and large companies. When there's a position open, let's see if we can put somebody into the position, either as a transfer or as a promotion. So generally, HR does that first, and there may be an amount of time for internal recruiting. There could be something like an upcoming retirement or other event. So let's say here we are in April, and if I was a manager and someone came to me and said, David, I've decided to retire at the end of the year. I now know there's an open position, but I can't really talk about it because we're 7-8 months away from when that person is leaving. So I may not be, offering or promoting that position, probably not till the fourth quarter, but I know about it. It is a hidden open position. And by the way, this could be true for other life events as well. It could be a woman who is planning a maternity leave, and she just let the boss know, in 6 months, baby is coming, I'll be taking time off, and then I'll need time off after that. So there could be other life events as well. HR has other priorities than hiring. And when I do this presentation in public, in person, and I ask people, what are other priorities that HR has? Well, the first answer always is, well, they fire people. That's not HR's priorities. They don't, I mean, they do occasionally have to do that. But think about it. HR could be doing something like negotiating the benefits package with their vendors in the next year. Or maybe they're getting ready for year-end reviews, or goal setting that some companies do in the middle of the year. So there are lots of things that HR does besides just hire people, and they may be in the middle of some cycle right now. And there could be other corporate things going on. Maybe there's a corporate party going on. Maybe there's a corporate reorganization. Lots of things that HR does. But are those jobs really hidden? So these are all jobs that are open, but they're not posted. So we call those hidden. And so these jobs may not all really be hidden. They may be out of our sight for now, but they're not really hidden. You can find them. So you need to get to know more people, because this group of people knows there are jobs that are available, but they're just not published. So you need to get to know more people. And it could be anywhere between one and many more people. And let's give you a little bit of a scenario of the types of people that you could get to know in any organization that may be able to help you find out about jobs that are not yet ready to be posted, but are really open. So the hiring manager. The hiring manager knows there's an open job. Even if the hiring manager is not promoting the job, the hiring manager knows there is an open job. Now, of course, that could mean you need to know lots of hiring managers, or hiring managers at least of the companies where you're interested in potentially interviewing. Now, you may or may not be able to know all those hiring managers, but if you get to know 1 or 2 more hiring managers, that gives you a little bit more direct access. But there are other people as well. The department manager. So it could be that higher than the hiring manager, someone who manages department, also knows. Remember the example I gave earlier, that what I needed to do was get permission to fill the open seat that just got open, and I needed my department manager. And there are not two department managers. I'm just counting them on the right side. There are now two people. So you don't need just to know hiring managers. If you happen to know a department manager who has managers working for him or her. And also company leadership, depending on the size of the company and the organization, they may have a division or a company leadership that gets involved in hiring decisions or hiring profiles. And so it could be that division leadership or company leadership, there could be 3, 4, 5, 6 or more people. There are now 8 people that you could potentially know, any one of them, that may be able to tell you that there's an open position. Now, as you go up the chain from hiring manager to department manager to division and company leadership, chances are that while those higher people do know there's an open position, they don't know a lot about it. So if you reach a division manager, you may say, oh, is there any open positions? They'll say, yeah, such and such department has, but I don't know much about it. And that's not unusual, but they can be your link to get more information for the position. So now that there's company approval, the hiring manager has to move forward with the process. And then you're going to talk to the HR director, so that a more formal promotion process. And now the HR manager is going to know that there is an open position. And there's a little bit of background noise from one person. Tony, if you could just nip that real quick. People turning pages, I think. Yeah, just be sensitive, folks. If you're not going to be speaking with us at the moment, keep your microphone on mute. In addition to the HR manager, director is the HR generalist. The joke is the director doesn't do any work, the generalist does all the work. And that's typically the person that does the internal recruiting, working with the okay. Sorry, yeah, you muted me as well, but I think I'm okay, good. So the HR generalist is the one who's doing the work on behalf of the HR department. A small HR department, there may just be one HR person, but at least one HR generalist is working on that project. There are now 10 people in this company that know about that one open position. And while they will begin to promote it in the more traditional ways through job boards and recruiters, they're also somebody that you can speak with. Coworkers. So the hiring manager may have a department with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more people. Those coworkers know there's an empty desk. They're probably fighting to get the empty desk because it's in a better position than their desk. So they know about the desk. They know about the open position. So you don't just need to know management in a company. You can get to meet or know anybody in the company. Coworkers are going to know about the position. And what's nice about that, they're going to know who the hiring manager is, and they'll know about a lot of the responsibilities in the job as well. They could be a good source of information for you. So it'd be nice if you can get to know a coworker or two. And it could be at any company, any of your targeted companies. And then there are other people as well. When you think about the way you used to work, you didn't work in a little bubble. You generally worked with other people. You might have gotten assignments for certain people, and then maybe what you got was had to hand off your work to the next department. So there are dependents, and there can be many dependents, people that you're getting work from, people you're giving work to. So in this one example, there could be up to 20 different people at that one company who may know about one open position. And this doesn't mean you need to know one person. 20 people. It means any one of these people could be perfectly viable for you, which means the process is really easy. You don't have to know 20 people. You need to know one. But I'm giving you a very wide target of types of people that may know. So you need to get to know more people. And that will help you be much more effective in understanding and finding some of these hidden positions. Okay, so how do you get to know more people? Well, for one thing, you could do networking. And so a meeting like this and other groups like this is a great way to begin doing that if you haven't done that very much yet. So networking is a great place to begin to meet people. Networking is not about jobs. Networking is about meeting people. That's all that networking is about. So what you want to do is you want to exchange information with other people, and you want to build a productive relationship. It doesn't mean these people that you're building relationships with are your best friends. They can just be professional buddies, people that you talk to once in a while. Right? So it doesn't really matter. But as long as those relationships are productive, even if they're not frequent, that's what's important. It's productive. It's a means of making connections with people, and it could be anybody. There was a gentleman, Jack, who he wrote a book, and it was called Networking with Anyone, Anywhere, All the Time. And I just thought that was a terrific title. I did presentations on it. Sadly, Jack has passed away, but he did great presentations in supporting networking. And when I heard his presentations, it was just very relevant. Anybody can be the person that you want to make a connection with. And you want to periodically stay in touch with these people. Keep the relationships strong and solid. That's what you really want to be able to do. You know, if you get connected with someone and you never have a relationship with them, you can say, well, I know so-and-so, but the other person may not think of it the same way, and they may not think of you. You want them to think of you. Networking is not about who you know. It's about who knows you. You may say that you met someone who's the CIO of an organization or a COO of an organization, but if they don't think about you, they don't really know you. It was just a phone call. It was just an informational discussion. So networking is about who knows you. And that's why you want to stay in touch with these people and maintain and grow the relationship a little bit. And it is about building relationships. And I know that to be 100% true because it's right here in bold red. And I would not put it in bold red if it was not true. And I think I read it on the internet. So it must be true, right? Everything on the internet is true. By the way, everything on the internet is not true. There's a lot of true stuff, but there's a lot of fake stuff as well. And we're not going to get into a further discussion of fake news or anything like that. So, but do build those relationships. Oh, so here's our first intermission point. And I see there's some chats. I don't know if there's any questions. Are there questions in the chat? Lost. Oh, you were troubleshooting. That's what Tony was doing.
I think that, David, one question that kind of, you mentioned about the gentleman who passed away. What was his name again? And how was it spelled?
I'm awful. Yeah. I'm confusing him with a. I'll have to get back to you in a few minutes. I'm actually awful with names. I don't know what it is. It's been my whole life. I can't remember names.
All right. We thought it was something like Jack Killian, but we
there it is. Sure. That's it. Jack Killian. Yep.
And he spelled it how?
Killion.
Okay.
And
Harry, you should be set.
And I met Jack through one of my first clients. And Jack was working for the client as well. And Jack was asked by the mutual client to give me certain information. And he said, I will not give it to David until I meet him. And so we met at a bagel shop, coffee shop, and we had a very nice discussion and we hit it off. And he then came to PSG of Mercer County a few times, the Breakfast Club of New Jersey. An older gentleman, sadly, he passed about a year or so ago, but his mantra was network with anyone, anywhere, all the time. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yep. Any other questions, folks? Any thoughts about what we talked about? Or what we're about to talk about? And if you ask me a question and I know it's in a coming slide, I may just say, oh, that'll be in a slide or two. Please just be patient, but happy to answer your questions now. Okay. Well, if not, then we will move ourselves forward. Like any good intermission, we will open the curtain. So we talked a little bit about the importance of networking. Let's talk about why it's important to network for finding a job. And so basically your odds, this was a study from the University of Michigan. Your odds of getting a job through a job site application is 1 in 250. And you could say, no, it's not that high. All right, maybe it's 1 in 200. But some of these, especially the bigger job boards, hundreds of applications per job. And so from the University of Michigan, that's what they found, 1 in 250. That's 0.04%. I would not go to Atlantic City and play a table with the odds of 0.04%. And I'm not a gambler anyway, but that's one I would certainly keep away from. However, Employee referrals only make up 7% of applicants, but 40% of hires, the same study. So that means that if you are going to want to improve your odds of finding out about a position or even getting into a company, you'll want to use a referral from an employee. Reach out to someone who works there and ask them if they will refer you to the hiring manager. And 40% of the hires. So you have a very good chance of landing that job. And my last full job was actually done that way. My last full-time job was done that way. I got connected to the company that I was interested in. I got connected to the HR generalist from a former coworker. So I knew a former coworker, and she was connected to the HR generalist at the company I was interested in. She made the introduction to me. Now I talked to the HR person. We talked and she said, send me your resume. I will put it on the hiring manager's desk. And then that hiring manager did hire me. So it worked for me. So consider these statistics, very important. So you want to speak with someone who currently works at the company. It will dramatically increase your opportunity. And I think I would play a game of chance in Atlantic City if I had 40% chance of winning. You know, the house probably wouldn't want me to play, but I would. So if you're nervous about networking, and there are a lot of people who say they're nervous about networking, I'm going to suggest you don't need to be, because networking isn't about getting rid of your nerves. It's okay if you're in a networking situation, if you're in a professional association or job search support group or any place where there's a bunch of people, or if you have to call someone directly. It's not about getting rid of your nerves. Matter of fact, a lot of stage actors will tell you they are most nervous right before they get on stage. They've practiced their lines, they know the play, but they're still nervous in front of a new crowd. But what they do, and the secret is, turn that nervousness into a form of excitement. Get yourself psyched up and ready to go. You may need to take a few minutes to center yourself. Some people might do a little bit of yoga, a little bit of relaxation and meditation, but just kind of focus on the event you're about to participate in or the connection you're about to make, and really begin to start focusing yourself. Ask yourself, and so you can be reminded, why are these people even important to me? Well, they're important to me because they have a connection to the position I'm interested in. And so again, it allows you to focus on what's important and set aside some of your nerves and anxieties. And try and visualize the entire session right from start to finish. Imagine the things that are going to go incredibly well. Think about the things that you really want to accomplish, the questions you want to ask, the information that you want to get from the person or the people that you're going to meet. And then see what that best case scenario is. Don't envision the worst case scenario, envision the best case scenario. It'll be a lot more optimistic for you. You'll feel a lot more better about it. And then if you need, listen to something that'll make you feel good. Maybe you'll put a YouTube video on that you like to watch, or a music video, or play some music on your MP4 or player or your iPhone. It'll help relax you and center you a little bit more. So do these little steps if you're someone that tends to be a little bit nervous about entering a networking situation. When you say, well, that's all well and good, but I'm an introvert. And so introverts, a lot of people think, are not good at networking. Well, I disagree. I think networking is perfect for introverts. It's not something that introverts are going to be afraid of. Because as an introvert, you like people. You just like less people at one time. So introverts don't like big crowds. Well, networking works best in a one-on-one situation. You want to meet that one person and have that one conversation. Even if you enter a room of 50 people and that overwhelms you, look for that one person that you want to speak with. That's what becomes important. And it could be finding out ahead of time who's going to be in attendance, or maybe there was a type of group where they did elevator pitches before open networking. Maybe you just introduce yourself and get a business card and you figure out right away if this is the person that's good or not good for you to speak with. Introverts tend to be quiet. If you're an introvert, you tend to be quiet. That makes you a good listener because most people like talking about themselves. Now you get an opportunity to hear about that person, about their connections, about the company they work for, and all sorts of things. You get to hear that a lot better without you being the extrovert trying to interject everything that's important to you. Introverts don't like to talk about themselves, at least not till they get to know people. So you tend to be very introspective and curious about others. You can be a good helper. So you're not only a good listener, but you can be a good helper. And think about the people in your life that you're most willing to help. You're most willing to help people that have helped you in the past. So now you're the helper. And those other people that you've begun to be introduced to realize you're a helper, and they'll be willing to, in exchange, help you right back. Introverts tend to have a close circle of friends, not a million friends, but a few. And so you will be very effective working in small, effective work groups. And so in a networking situation, again, with 50 people, that's not the situation for you. You might be happiest working in a small group of 2, 3, 4 people. In a smaller group may work out best for you. So networking, if you're an introvert, it's perfect for you. Don't let it get in the way. Matter of fact, for you extroverts, you need to be a little bit more about like an introvert. You need to be introspective. You need to be willing to help and talk to the others and be a good listener to be very effective as a networker. So, who to network with? Well, maybe strategic partners. These are people that are in complementary businesses, but they share the same target market. Just because you're an IT person, a strategic partner may not be other IT people, but maybe in the industry in which you're working, your customers, or people that are vendors, right, that service you, people that you partner with. These are great people to network with because they can help you find positions that are in your marketplace, but outside of your specific industry, your specific role. There are also subject matter experts. These are people in your professional area, and they may know a lot more than you. Maybe they know about the same as you, but you can share ideas and you can brainstorm. You can learn a lot from people who are SMEs. So you may want to find subject matter experts as people who with whom you can network. And also people who you are already connected with. These are people that you know. You may not have been in touch with them in a long time. I remember in 2012, when I first was unemployed for the first time, there were a few people I did reach out in this way. One was a former coworker who I hadn't spoken to in about 16 or 17 years, but I reached out to her on LinkedIn. She was so surprised and happy to hear from me. We set up a phone call and we reconnected. And you know, it was like, hearing her voice was just like I hadn't seen her one day, not 16 years. It was really very friendly. So reach out to people that are former coworkers, former managers, former vendors, people that you know, but you haven't been in touch with a while. Those are great people to work with. And there are different ways to network. There are different types of networking. Some of them you'll go to right away, and some you'll have to think about a little bit more. So one is the one-on-one types of discussions. So you may send an email like I did to my friend after 16 years. You may have a phone conversation, or nowadays maybe a virtual conversation. I know some of us are getting a little tired of these virtual meetings, but they're just really easy. Maybe offer to meet someone for coffee or meet someone for lunch. It doesn't mean you're buying the coffee and you're buying the lunch for them, but it's just an opportunity, an occasion to get together, find a coffee shop or a restaurant where you can meet. And also the informational interview, a very powerful discussion and networking tool that we're going to talk more about in just a moment, but that's a one-on-one opportunity as well. Groups. And normally when I'm in a group like this in person, I ask, does anyone belong to any groups? There's usually someone who shakes their head, no. Well, of course you do. You're in this group. So job seeker support groups. So maybe you can connect with some of the people in the group. Go to meetup.com. It is not a dating website. It is a website that has virtual groups that connects you to in-person groups. And it's completely free to use. The people who use it are the group managers. They pay to use it. You as a group member, it's completely free. So join meetup groups, create a profile with keywords and other information about you professionally and personally. Meetup night and day will look for groups that match your profile and then send you an email about an upcoming group. You can go to that group. You can not go to the group if it's not right, but they'll alert you. So it really helps. Professional associations, you may know some of those in your industry or in your role. So you may consider finding a professional association. Also, consider forming a small work group, a few of you just working together on a common goal. Could be job search related or industry related or any sort of topic of interest, but work with and meet with other people. Social media, you can connect with thousands of people if you want on social media. You may want to target the ones that are most relevant to you in your job search, and then that's fine. That's the ones that'll be most beneficial to you. LinkedIn is the #1 of the social media sites that are used for professionals as well as people in job search. It's got a tremendous job search function, but you'll be able to meet and connect with people in your profession, in your industry, in your role. Twitter, companies are promoting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on blogs, on websites, all sorts of social media. You can get lots of information and begin to connect with people. And lots of other places. There are volunteer organizations. I'm active in volunteering. Maybe religious groups at your local house of worship, chambers of commerce, a great place to meet local businesses, family functions. You'd be surprised how many of your family members know nothing about you. And the reason why you know this is because there are a lot of your family members you don't know a whole lot about. Yeah, I know it's my cousin. I grew up with him or her, but you may not know a lot about what they do professionally. Maybe even the checkout line at a library or at a supermarket or wherever you're going to be. Maybe you're waiting on that long line, the cashier's moving too slowly. Turn to your left or right, have a conversation with someone. You just never know. Maybe you're sitting in the stylist chair, getting your hair cut in style. Start a conversation with that person. Anybody. So I mentioned informational interview is great for one-on-one. Some of you know what this is. Some of you may not, or maybe you've heard of it and don't know a lot about it, but I thought we would talk about that as well. It's basically a conversation. It's a meeting. It can be informal. It can be formal. It can be in person. It could be on the phone. It could be virtual. It's just a conversation with somebody else. That's what an informational interview is. So it's not really a job interview because it's never about a job. Underlying, it's kind of always about a job. You just never talk about a job. And you, the job seeker, you're looking for information about the industry, about the company, the corporate culture of any potential workplace. Or you're also looking for advice about your career. And that could be because you're changing industries, you're changing roles, you're changing companies, and you need a little bit extra advice or guidance. So when you're meeting with that person, you're looking for advice. That's what you're looking for. Helpful information. That's what the informational interview. It's not a job interview. It's information interview. So you're getting information. But the employed professional that you're speaking with, secretly, clandestinely, they're learning about you as a potential employee. So they want to judge your professional potential and your ability to fit in their corporate culture. They may not have a job for you right now, but if they do in a couple of months, they may want to reach out to you. Remember, who in their network do they trust, right? They don't want to have to go out to the open market. They want to stick within their network. So informational interview is not about hiring. It's never been about hiring. And kind of it is, but you don't talk about hiring. It's not about a specific job. It's really just about getting that information, learning, and then a means of starting a relationship. That's the informational interview. So some do's and don'ts, what to do. Ask for advice, ask for information about the company, the industry, the company culture, challenges, all sorts of things. It's almost like when you were in a regular interview and they said, do you have any questions for me? And you wanted to know about these sorts of things. Tell me about the company. Tell me what it's like to work here. What are some of the challenges in the industry? What are trends that are going on? Also, ask for more contacts. The last thing you want to ask for And I don't mean that in a negative way, but before you wrap up, thank the person for their time and ask, is there anyone you suggest I should speak with? And then you can have another informational interview with that next person. Don't ask for a job. I should put that in bold red because it's very important. And how you might initiate it. I usually like and find most successful, I ask a mutual contact for an introduction. So if, let's say, Tony and I are connected to someone that I want to, Tony is connected to someone that I want to speak with. So that person is connected to Tony and connected to me. I might send an email or call Tony. Hey, do you know so-and-so? And what is your relationship? Can you facilitate an introduction? And Tony would be either comfortable enough or tell me truthfully if he's not able to. And then once I get that email, get an email address also. And what you can do is you can send an email. And the way I like to do it, I put right in the subject line, Tony Calabrese suggested I contact you. Why is that? Because the person doesn't know me. If I send an email and they don't know me, they may not even open the email, but they know and trust Tony. So they're going to be curious enough to open that email. And then I'll refer to that contact in my email message. And I'll ask, can I schedule a few minutes with you? You may get a response right away. You may get a meeting a few weeks from now. I know I had one time when I reached out to a CIO of a big organization. It took me 3 months to get the connection. I was working with his admin. So that was a little longer. Sometimes it's faster. But you'll find most people will be happy to speak with you, even for a few minutes. Now, at the time you're having that informational interview, use the time productively. Don't take up too much of their time. Promise them only 15 or 20 minutes. You're not going to take a lot of time from them. And ask productive questions. And seek productive information. Get the information that you need to help you with your job search. But remember, it's not about a specific job. If they bring up a specific job, it's fair game to talk about it. But you're not the one who's going to talk about that job first. So let's also talk about the importance of online presence for finding hidden jobs, unpublished jobs. So it's no longer the case that you are the primary point of information between those hiring managers and you. Now, more and more hiring managers are finding you in social media, on website, on other online profiles. So it's the initial point, the primary point of contact between you and the person that wants to find you could be online. And it helps them learn about you. So publish information about you on social information, professional information. Create and publish information about you on a website. And if you're one of those people who say, I'm not going to be in social media because I don't want the hackers to find my personal information, that's not a valid argument. And here's why. You don't give away information. If hackers are finding out that information, it's because they're getting it from somewhere else. You're not going to publish your home address or your social security number or your credit card numbers. They're stealing it from someplace else. You're going to publish information on the things that are important to you professionally. It's also reinforcement. Now that they found you or heard about you, if they find you multiple times in social media, then they begin to accept the validity of the information that they read and find. So ways to be online, a personal or professional website. I am a big fan of job seekers creating a website for this purpose. Only a couple of web pages. It's not going to be very big, but it's an easy way to be found. Here's why. Did you ever do a Google search? And I know the answer is yes. And you put in a search term in the search bar, and then comes a big list of websites. Everything that comes up are websites. So if someone's going to search for you by name, ultimately your website will come up. Your LinkedIn profile. So make sure you have a very robust and current LinkedIn profile. And any other social media platform that's important for your role in your industry. Not all industries, the primary audience is going to be on any one of these platforms. So you need to be on the one first that is where your audience is going to be. So as we wrap up, hidden jobs are filled without an employer ever posting. They're not on the public job market. They're not going to be posted in the traditional places. They're hidden. They're not yet published and posted. Up to 70% of open jobs are not ever posted. Hiring managers prefer to hire people that they knew or who they have a relationship with. So most hidden jobs are not well hidden if you network with enough people, and it can be anybody. Get those informational interviews to start developing a relationship with people and create a good, consistent, and strong online presence. So that's what's important about uncovering the hidden job market. So if you're interested, you can actually download this slide deck. I always give away my slide decks and my information, and it's right on my website. My website is Princeton Technology Advice. Item workshops, you click there, and then the bottom is recently offered programs. I have a whole list of this year's presentations I've done. And so it's right at the top. So that's the one that you're going to see. When I do my next presentation, this will be the second one down. If Tony is able to give me a link to the video, I will put that there as well. So any other questions, information you like? And by the way, there's my contact information. You are welcome to contact me. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Anything I wasn't clear about?
Well,
Hello.
I know that. Hi, I'm Dolly Evans.
Hi, Dolly.
How are you? And thank you for this informing workshop. So it was with great information. But what I just wanted to make a comment about is that I've been finding, I'm in marketing and digital marketing, and I've been inundated from various sites online. I believe it's AI that's being used or being integrated with, keyword searches when I'm searching online. And then my Gmail inbox is inundated with all of these job offers. And then when I respond to the job offers, then it's like phishing. When you go to wherever, you click on the link, and then you get a ton of jobs that have nothing to do with your background. So I just want to know what's your comment or what's your response to that?
So, yeah, I agree. It's likely some sort of bot or AI that has formed an opinion about you based on the information it has found. The little bots are really stupid. You know, they're not insightful. What they do is they collect information, send it back to home base, and then home base makes a decision on that. And so if it's that kind of means, that's one way. Another time what happens is anytime there's any position, HR or a recruiting company blasts the world. And the reason why is you may get that wonderful job description that doesn't apply to you, but one of your friends it would be perfect for. And so you forward that email. And so they're putting you to work for them. But this is very much, it's almost phishing. It's not quite, but it's almost phishing. But that's why you want to get more directly involved with the people who may actually be the holders and the knowledge bearers of those positions. These pushes that are out there of positions just may not be directly relevant. They may be they may be name collecting by you replying, or they may just trying to throw everything on the wall to see what sticks. So you need to take more control. Stop relying only on the emails coming in for finding positions. Stop only looking at the job boards, and start looking at people. I'm not saying stop looking at job boards, but stop only doing it. Because if you spend 100% of your time on something that only potentially has a 30% yield, you're going to be spending a lot more time finding that position. Spend more of your time that has the potential of a 70% yield, and you'll be a lot more productive.
Okay. Because it's so hard, because they make it so attractive when I receive them in my inbox, and it's like almost perfectly what I'm looking for. And I'm getting used to it now where I'm starting to ignore it, but I can't turn it off.
Right. Yeah. And then, the ones that are really very close to what you want, or you may try to apply to them and see what happens. But even if it's an active open position, remember they're sending those to potentially thousands of people, so hundreds could apply. The opportunity for you to be found and interviewed for that position is very low. Here's another way the bots work, the applicant tracking systems work, and you need to be aware of. It used to be the thought that you want to be the last one into the heap because they'll remember you. So if you apply, you want to be the last one. You don't when it comes to automation. You want to be the first one in, because you don't know how these recruiters are looking at the stack of resumes that are coming in. But I can tell you they are not reading 250. They're using the computer to help. And they're going to ask the computer, please give me the first 5 that match my qualifications. Because the recruiter is only going to look at a few. If you're number 6 to 250, you are never going to be looked at. So how do you get looked at? Well, similar to the story that I told a little earlier, I contacted an HR generalist at a company of interest. I talked with her and she liked what I had to say, and she forwarded my resume to the manager. Now, I did get hired by them. I had the opportunity to hire people. I learned the way they work. They post on Monster. They get dozens or hundreds of positions. So she's not posting or forwarding all of them to the hiring manager. So you want to make sure you talk to someone who can help you. So, take a grain of salt, those positions that are coming to you. If you have email, you can also put rules that'll put some of them into your spam folder if that's what makes sense to minimize your inbox mess. And start trying to contact some of the people directly.
Okay, thanks, David.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks, Dolly.
Any other questions? I would hope you found this very helpful, Dave. Before I forget, I want to thank you. And not only did I love the presentation, I loved your slides. They were very inspirational. You took your time with those, and like not only you presented, but the little graphics and what have you and all. As I said in the beginning, David, having been a veteran of going through this, wasn't one of the people who landed himself and then said the heck with the group and whatever. He's never left us since he was part of the groups back about 10, 11 years ago. And as he mentioned, he has his group. He's got a few different groups, but in particular, the one on Friday morning out of Princeton, PSG of Mercer County, they meet every week, and he has a wide variety of speakers. And like I say, even folks that are very prominent in the Philly area, since he lives in the Princeton area. So again, please do consider supporting him, because I know you're going to get some great information from him.
I just put that, thank you, Tony. I just put that in chat. It's psgofmercercounty.org. We meet every Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Just check our events calendar page. The connection info is there. And we have presenters from all around the country. So not just from New Jersey or Philadelphia or Northern New Jersey. And one thing that's been really nice with virtual, the silver lining, I guess, with this whole mess we've been in, we've been able to attract presenters from outside our area, giving us a lot of variety. So I think, stick with groups that are virtual for that reason.